Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Showtime at the British. I'm Linton Garner, your MC. I'm here at the British Hotel in beautiful downtown Aylmer, Quebec, and tonight we're featuring the musical stylings of Rebelle. We'll also be talking with Mike Clement. He's the proprietor of this venerable institution. So stay with us and enjoy the music. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Linton Garner. We're here at Showtime at the British Hotel in beautiful downtown Aylmer, Quebec, and we're finishing off the third part of our conversation with the proprietor of the British Hotel, Mr. Mike Clement. We want to look a little bit more about some of the history that we were talking about. As well, the history of the British is also the history of Aylmer. And here I see you have a picture from back in the day about what Aylmer was a little bit like.
Yeah, we found this when we were doing our research, working with Aylmer Heritage Association. We found this train, which was really important for us because it had a stop right in front of the British. This was the train that went from Ottawa or Bytown to Aylmer, right down the main street here, right down to the harbor and Queen's Park. You can see here it says Aylmer on top, and that was the train that brought people to Aylmer and to British. And this is one of the great things that transportation made it easier for those to come and see the British back in the day.
Yeah, it's amazing. Now I see you have something here of what it might have looked like back in the 50s. And this is very familiar to me because my father was a jazz musician and we went to a lot of places where I walked into rooms just like this. So you want to tell us a little bit about that?
This is built, this is the Continental Room built by Joe Tereski in '58. This was the room where they had their dinners and their dinner dance and parties, and this was the swing era. This was the 50s, 60s. We've preserved the room. It looks completely different. You'll see it now when we do our Showtime at the British highlights on the main stage. It's the main stage in this particular area is right over here. The bar is the old bar on the left when you come in. For us, it's the main bar. And so this is an interesting photo that we found from the Tereski archives, which shows the Continental Room, which is now the public house.
Right, so this is really typical of days gone by.
Yeah.
Right, and here now you have an old menu I see. All right, tell us about that. What was the price of a steak in those days?
This is neat because if you look at this, this is very classy back in the day, a nice gold book that you would get when you sit down. It says the British Hotel here, and yeah, you'd get a steak for $1.60. You'd get salmon for $1.20. You'd be in and out of here probably for $3 back in the day.
Yeah, that was what it was. It was very elegant and a classy place for people to come, for somebody to bring their wife or their husband here for a celebration, as you talked about in previous sessions, right?
Right.
And over here, this is sort of the changeover.
Well, this is what Joe Tereski designed with a company in Ottawa, Neon Products, CF of Canada. And in Ottawa, they designed and built this sign. It's a rotating neon sign, and we preserved it. We found this in the plans of the archives of Bernice Tereski. We preserved it. I think they spent $700 back in 1958 to have this sign. There's lots of neon and lots of lights, and it turns. This British part rotates.
Right.
And we spent $28,000 in 2015 to preserve the sign or to resurrect the sign.
Right. Well, this is what we see in the opening shot for the for Showtime at the British.
Yeah.
Now, again, as we talked about, the history of the British is also the history of Aylmer, and this is what it might have looked back in bygone days. Where would this be in relation to the rest of the club now?
Well, this is an interesting view from Parker. This is the west wall, which we ended up redoing. Back in the day, this is where the fire escapes that were installed. And then the famous balcony where Prince of Wales gave his speech down to thousands of people on the street.
That's when he came here to dedicate Parliament.
Yeah, dedicate Parliament, lay the first stone at Parliament, and then stayed here at the British and gave a speech, and then said this building is now deemed the British Hotel. So this is one of the photos of the time, and gives a bit of a show of the chimneys and some of the stonework and some of the Neo-Georgian windows. Yeah.
Which you've preserved, right?
Yeah.
And this fine instrument here is a baby grand piano, which I understand was from 1905?
1905. We found it, an amazing donation from somebody. And again, history, it plays well. We tune it regularly for weddings inside this building. This piano is used for events and another part of history.
It's a great symbol of the music and the culture that we want to be bringing here to the folks of the Uda region and here at the British Hotel. Thank you very much for having us, and we look forward to more shows, in particular, getting to some.
Well, live music and the shows over on the main stage. So that's really great what we're going to have. And thank you. Thank you so much for doing this for Aylmer and for all the live shows. And, you know, this is just a great collaboration with Matt TV. And
I think it's a great partnership.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's hear it for Rebelle.
Rubberneck, smoking my city, taking my lungs. I do it from dark. I do it from cold. Just a fly, socially wrong. I proceeded to take the wheel and break. Break it up. Driving around, we keep driving around, I can't wait to shine, burn into the ground. Watch out, watch out. Got no future, so I'm out, and we need to know to hear me out. We keep driving around, we keep driving around, with their hotels, we keep dragging down, we keep dragging ourselves down. I can't wait to shine, burn it to the watch out, watch out. You change, you change, you change, you change, you change, you change, you change. Words change, change, you change, you change, change, change. Words change, you change. It's a change, you change, you change, you change. Words you change, you change. You change, you change, you change, you change. Burn into the watch out, watch out. Thank you. That was Watch Out. you got this the rapture. It's creeping up to get you. So you got this the rapture. Thank you very much, so for Rapture.
Hi, I'm Stephany Crowley, and I'd like to welcome David, Joey, Riley, and Ryan from Rebelle, an indie rock band that hails from Wakefield, Quebec. Now, your music is described as a little trashy with a beat and really, really sweet, but how do you describe your music?
We're mutts, you know. We're Quebec mutts. We're Quebec kind of pop grunge, if I could say that.
How did you guys get together, and where did you get your start?
Well, we all grew up in kind of the same little village, and well, I didn't. That's kind of a lie, but they did. And I was joined a band with Ryan over here late in high school, and they had been friends, lived down the street from each other their entire lives. And we had two separate bands that we would always kind of play shows together and also, you know, have a couple drinks together, this, that. And then some of the people from some of the bands left to university. They were in kind of this like limbo purgatory period, and then we ended up just all coming together and making this band.
So you're a blend of rock and alternative, but tell us what other kind of music inspires your sound?
Yeah, I think that predominantly it's grunge, like at the fundamental level. So things like Nirvana, it's really like structurally is where we get a lot of our influences from. But then we have a lot of things like riff-driven, more maybe melodic stuff like The Killers or Muse, kind of, yeah, like drivey melodic stuff that's maybe a little cleaner than the grunge. But then we try to incorporate that kind of muddy sound into it.
You won a prize a while ago from Live 88.5's Big Money Shot, and you were in the top 10 regional finalists for CBC's Searchlight a couple of years ago. What happened after that, and how did that help you evolve?
As a band, it was awesome to kind of get some positive feedback to what you're doing, for sure. For the Big Money Shot, we won some money, which really helped a lot, which we don't have a ton of it, so and everyone knows it's expensive. So it really pushed us to get out there. We went on tour for the first time, learned a ton from tour managers, places, like new places, how to get your money, and just how to really be a band before and after the show, kind of keep it on a responsible level. We were really young too, but it definitely, we learned a lot for sure.
The important stuff, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Now, you've released 2 EPs, which people can find on Spotify. When can your fans expect another release?
So we just recorded a single, and we're going to be releasing that in March. We're doing a lot of planning, and then we're going to be releasing our LP in June. And I think this next release is going to be a little bit more of a focused sound. We've found where we want to be, and we're fitting into that pocket, so...
Now, you recently toured the U.S. Do you prefer the U.S.? Do you prefer Canada? How'd that change things for you?
I mean, none of us have done a lot of traveling, so it was just an awesome experience. We got to tour across from Seattle all the way to New York, so it's kind of a band's dream to go and break into the U.S. market. So in that sense, it was awesome.
What was your favorite place?
We went to this smaller town in Kentucky called Bowling Green, and Cage the Elephant are from there, so that was cool. They had their platinum records on the wall, and you could tell it was a pretty cool scene, and people enjoyed our music there too. So.
Well, we hope our viewers will check out your website, rebellemusic.com, and you should stay tuned to Showtime at the British to hear more from these guys and gal.
Thank you.
Running around, like the teeth of my knife is to haunt you. Can't you see that I'm just running around? I'm running everybody's strong up high. From there, one night, can't see it night. I am living it up, oh baby. Got to see it, I just don't you. Can't you see that I'm just running around? Like the teeth of my mouth is to haunt you. Can't you see that I'm just running around? Thank you. The round to that in March. other side. But when you said you want me, did you mean it? You thought the eye you want to keep it a secret. Looks so much about it, I will keep it a secret. Now you gotta hit the road. Oh, I can hear the sound of the out of my side. I told you, I'm in the trouble. I'ma keep jumping here in the night. I'll be behind you. You better run and hide. I'm a victim. What makes you think you got the right? And I'll twist into these tables, honey. 'Cause I ain't no stranger to this kind of ride. Oh no. If you want me, get your meat and a secret. Look, you tell me how you wanna keep it a secret. Look, so if you find it, I will keep it a secret. Yeah, you gotta hear the word. Oh, I can hear the stand, stay out of my side. I told you, so I can be in trouble. I'ma get you again in the night. I'll be behind you. You better run and hide. If you want me, get your meat in. When you said you want me, get your meat in. When you said you want me, get your meat in. I see that. Look, you tell me how you wanna keep this a secret. Look, the best you find it, I won't keep it a secret. Now you gotta hit the road. Oh, oh, I can hear the sound of the out of my side. I told you, I can eat the trouble. I'ma keep chilling here in the night. I'll be behind you. You better run and hide.
I want to thank you for being with us. I want to thank our musical guest, Rebelle. I want to thank our host, Mr. Mike Clement. And I want to see you here next week for Showtime at the British.